Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer. I'm the founder and host here at ComplianceCohort.com. This compliance clip is going to talk about the requirements for lobby disclosures under Regulation CC. So we're talking about check holds, and the question we have is this, what are the lobby disclosure requirements for Regulation CC? These are the disclosure requirements that tell customers what our hold practices are. And of course, there are some requirements. So where do those come from? Those, of course, come from Regulation CC, which is 229.18, since that regulation is still owned by the Federal Reserve. That's the numbering for that rule. Now, what the requirement says is this. It says a bank shall post in a conspicuous place in each location where its employees receive deposits to a consumer account a notice that sets forth the time periods applicable to the availability of funds deposited into a consumer account. So that is the requirement under 229.18. It doesn't give us a lot of guidance as to specifics, so what we can do is look at the commentary to 229.18 that tells us a number of things. First of all, it says that the requirement is for a disclosure to be at each location where its employees accept consumer deposits. So each location. Now, what does that mean? Specifically, they give us some guidance that we'll talk about in another bullet point in just a minute. It goes on, it says it must specifically state the availability periods in the disclosure, which we're going to use a model form. We'll see that on the next slide, so that's not a big deal. But what the commentary then tells us is that the disclosure does not need to be posted at each teller window, but in a central location that's likely to be seen. So as an auditor over the years, I've been into many branches looking for the Reg CC lobby disclosure. And typically what you see is you'll see it somewhere on the teller window. Sometimes it's at every single teller station. Sometimes it's actually glued onto the wall in front of the teller windows, so you have it at each teller station. Other times it's a document that's kind of printed out and set on top of the windows by the teller station, so it could be removed. And sometimes over the Christmas period, when there's Christmas decorations, it disappears. But what I've seen before is I've seen sometimes you have the disclosure on the far end of the teller line. Well, that's not at each location that's likely to be seen. So if you've got 10 teller windows, it shouldn't be at the far end. You should probably have one in the middle and a couple more dispersed throughout. So what I like to do as a rule of thumb is if you have 2 teller stations, you could put one in the middle. So then you basically have one, a teller station, one a teller station, and then a teller station, one a teller station. So where every customer is, they can see the disclosure pretty easy, and that's something that would appease an examiner. Now, it is subjective as to what's likely to be seen, but if it's at the far end and all the stations are closed down there and the line forms this way, that's going to be a problem. Now, the other thing they tell us what we can do is instead of putting it at the teller windows, we can actually put it somewhere else, like at the point where a line forms for teller service in the lobby. So if you have a line, you can stick it on the very end of the line and create a disclosure form that stands right by the starting place to your line, and that would be appropriate as well. So that's what the commentary tells us as far as the lobby disclosures for Regulation CC. Now, the commentary also explains that we do not have to have the Reg CC notice in our drive-through or night drop locations. So it is not required in the night drop, and is also not required in drive-through. So that is something that is not required. Now, as far as the model notice, the regulation itself gives us a sample notice that sort of provides this safe harbor for us, and it's found in Appendix C, where all the model notices are for Regulation CC. Specifically, there are 2 notices for us to choose from. The first notice is Model Form C17, which provides the maximum statutory limits. So a few banks may provide a blanket hold policy where they provide holds on all deposits, and in that case you'd be using this C17 form, but most financial institutions don't do that. What they do is use C18, which is for financial institutions that use case-by-case holds, and that's the model form that you would use. So I hope that answers any questions you have relating to the Regulation CC notices that are required to be placed in the lobby. And that's all I have for you for this compliance clip. Now, if you're new to the compliance cohort, we have a bunch of free training videos just like this. They're known as compliance clips, and they're available to our basic members in our basic membership, which is, of course, a free membership. So you can go to compliancecohort.com and sign up for this free membership where we have free training videos just like this, a bunch of articles. In fact, hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos are available through the basic membership. We also do giveaways. We've got a weekly newsletter that comes out on Fridays. We offer discounts and provide other guidance as well. Now, if you are an existing member, you know that we have advanced training programs available in our store at compliancecohort.com/store. So again, that's all I have for you for today. So until next time, I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much.